So it's the 20th of September, and we carry on reading Joseph's story. And this story is so full of ups and downs, isn't it? It's like he's his dad's favourite, top of the world, then he gets sold as a slave, then he becomes the best slave in Potiphar's household, and now today he's down in a dungeon, literally. And by the end of it, he gets raised up super high to be the Prime Minister of Egypt. But today we can learn a bit about how to live when we feel down in the dumps, how to live when life feels like a jail and a prison cell. And that might be because some relationship has gone wrong in our lives. It might be because there's something else that's really stressing us out or putting a pressure on. But what do we discover? First of all, we discover that it's not good to blame people. So Joseph doesn't do that. If I was him, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting there in jail thinking, that stupid cow, Mrs. Potiphar, because I wouldn't sleep with her. Now I'm finding myself in jail. And Mr. Potiphar, what was he doing? I made his house the best house in Egypt, and he's thrown me. He didn't believe me. He didn't trust me. I'd be sitting there sucking my thumb, turning in on myself. And most of the time, that's what we do, isn't it? When life goes wrong, we focus on our own problems, and we can often blame people for them. Joseph actually serves the people that he's surrounded by, even though it's in a jail. So he'll serve the captain of the guard, he'll serve the baker and the cupbearer when he has the chance, and you get the impression that he does it to the best of his ability. When things are difficult, it's most challenging to try and serve other people, but that's when it's most important. Jesus talks about losing our life to find it. And when we focus on others and their needs, even when life is difficult for us, actually there's something wonderful about that, and there's something much healthier about that for us too. So number one, he doesn't blame people when life is hard. Number two, Joseph seems to have a confidence in God's sovereignty, the fact that God is in charge. So you see that when he's talking about the dreams and how only God can interpret dreams, and he says that both to the cupbearer and the baker, but also to Pharaoh. God can interpret these things. When we're in a difficult situation, it can feel like, what, God, do you even know what is happening? God knows, and God can interpret it, and God can work it for good. And if we struggle to believe that, one of the things that can be helpful is to take some time to remind ourselves of how in control he is, of the fact that the sun rises every morning and sets every evening, the fact that we have food on our tables and shelter, a house to live in and clean water to drink. In that is his provision. Another thing we might want to do is, if it's really difficult at the moment, take 5 minutes after this video just to thank him for the way that last time things were hard, he helped you out. What was it that he did? Was it that a friend came alongside you? Was it that someone gave you a word? Was it there was a particular Bible verse? Was it that now you see someone provided in that way? Thank him for that. Take some time to process that. If he was faithful then, he'll be faithful now. And the final thing is, if Joseph didn't blame other people, but he served people, he trusted God was in control. The final thing is, he was faithful. And he was in there for years. So the only way he could have been faithful is one day at a time. If today is difficult, if now is hard, we don't have to hang in there for the next 20 years. Just focus on this day. Be faithful for this day. That's all you got to do.